perspective is so great, and when you look at the tunnel on the front, usually people walk in, but I got your view too quickly, and they look at the tunnel and they just say, wow. And if you stand out on the sidewalk and you look at the tunnel painting, you wonder how on earth he could do that. and his architect friends who were in during the time were saying, I'm glad it wasn't me. They all said, we couldn't do that. Now they could build a tunnel, but they could not actually have the patience nor to get that perspective right and to get yourself through the tunnel. So this is one of his wonderful, wonderful uses of the shadows and of the lines, and certainly of the architecture. And then, of course, there are two more bridges over here. But then, what articulates the railroad bridge, of course, for us all, would be going back to that Midwestern landscape again, and then the use of the semaphores. Because we see signals all the time now, but it's not the same as in the old days when those semaphores were working, and of course they were going back and forth, and they were ringing bells at the same time. And whether he ever remembers that, because he's only 45, and I can't imagine
he doesn't remember.
But he certainly has seen enough, and he has experienced enough, and with the railroad museums, etc., it's all come alive for him in a different way. And now I'd like to take you downstairs and then give you time to roam both ways so that you can be looking at the pergola too. So I'll go downstairs and you'll see a few more of our artists in many different ways. You're going to see many different kinds of media that are used in very many different ways. And the leading abstractionist in Chicago his name is William Conger, and this is his painting right over here. And when they put together all of the museum shows in Chicago and the catalog shows about abstraction, they are talking about William Conger. And it's really quite wonderful because he was the head of the Fine Arts Department at Northwestern for 14 years, and prior to that, he was head of the art department at DePaul University. So there are all those academic references along with what he does to paint. Now, you're seeing configuration in all different ways. So you're seeing the application of a lot of different colors of paint. He is about color, and he is about line, and he is about depth. And he also has said to a group that he feels that it is his job in this life to take away the burden from the rectangle. So that's one reason why his paintings move so. You get a wonderful depth when you stand back from it. It just keeps going and coming and coming, or else it keeps going and going. But the movement comes because there is no such thing as a really perfect rectangle. You think so, but you look and all of a sudden, one of those lines is not going to be absolutely perfect. And because of that, you get the activity that goes through. And another kind of application, this is pure abstraction. The background is very important to the artist. This is an artist who lives in New York, but he is a Spanish artist. His name is Taylor Gonzalez. And he has a very compulsive kind of activity that he uses in order to do his painting. After the background, then he has a polymer vinyl acrylic, and he takes a brush, and these are done flat, and he drops the polymer vinyl acrylic onto, no, this is the emulsion, excuse me, the polymer vinyl emulsion. He drops it onto the canvas, and he knows exactly how far it's going to expand. And then after the drying process happens, then he takes another brush, and he has the polymer vinyl acrylic, and he drops another color right into the middle of that little cellular configuration that you see. And who knows when he decides where he wants to put those little drops, but once those little drops have been applied, then that's what gives you the activity as it goes through that section. Now sometimes the entirety of the canvas is all just this. Sometimes he then chooses to do just a portion of it, and it's always amazing to us when he does this because, once again, this is done freehand. There is no direction. And this time, always before they were perfect squares, and this time, the last time we had a show of his, he did it with this wonderful undulating form, and one way he got that was the first application of the emulsion pieces. But then, instead of putting the dots perfectly in order, then he started putting them some up, some down, and so therefore you're getting that undulating form coming through it. And one more kind of application is, well, I could talk about every one of them, and I know you don't have time to hear all this, but it's the use of materials. And this artist is a very young artist, and he uses Elmer's glue with acrylic. And he too works flat. Sometimes he incorporates with that mixture, he incorporates horsehair or different kinds of hair. He's even used poodle hair and all kinds of different things. Sometimes he incorporates with it graphite. So you're getting a big activity of a lot of graphite that is going on in this area. Sometimes it's just the latex, the acrylic along with the Elmer's glue that he uses. And he gets that activity by being very, very careful about how he applies the outer layers then, because it's layer upon layer of using first of all the acrylic and then the Elmer's glue and then acrylic and then going over and over and over. So when he uses only the acrylic, then he still gets a wonderful representation that you think there's something going on in there, but it's just the activity of the acrylic and how he pushes the paint along with the Elmer's glue. And then probably one of our most well-received artists besides William and besides Theo is a German artist. And his name is Markus Lehmweg, and he is from